a series of new videos that are just gonna be a little shorter, like, ask a witch what I think about things, me talking about topics maybe not as in depth as some of my longer videos. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about my first topic today, and that is protection magic. Now, a common question, and even one that I've had myself as a magical practitioner and being, I have a YouTube channel, more in the public spotlight, etc., on the left-hand path, and that's what to do if someone is magically attacking you. Now, there's a lot of different ways to approach this, and if you're just starting out, what I would recommend is you kind of build your, you build your defense system first. You have your protections in place, and those can be little things. I don't want to give away all my personal protections because that can also be used against me, but things that I would recommend, like even little things, like I always wear like a black tourmaline necklace. Not only is that good for protection and absorbing, negative energies, is that for me, I use it a lot for grounding and centering because I am an air sign Gemini with no earth signs anywhere in my astrological chart, not even in like the weird little planetoids like Chiron and whatnot. So grounding, it's a thing, not one I'm always very good at. So, there's little things like that. Like I keep a piece of tourmaline in my purse. I have one on my headboard. I keep, them in various places around the house with other magical items and things like that for protection. Now, or to what black tourmaline is going to do, and a lot of the black crystals and stones like obsidian or onyx or jet, even smoky quartz too, because like some of it is much darker, is that it's going to pull in the negative energy. Now, what do you do when, you're kind of, this is pulled in, weeks worth or longer of negative energy? You kind of you don't want to just like have the negative energy hanging around your neck like an albatross or, at different points in your room. So what I use to clear out and charge my crystals, now you can do this on a full moon, set them in the window. Before putting crystals in salt or water, you do want to check to make sure that that's not going to cause any damage to them or for them to like leach out any of the toxic chemicals or metals that are in that. Some of them have things like arsenic or sulfur, things of that nature. So what I have is, and you can get different types of selenite. I have a little selenite, this is the one I have upstairs, I have a little selenite charging crystal. So I'll just put my crystals on that, and selenite just kind of clears out all the negative energy. I also have like selenite bowls, and I have like the wands and things like that too. So that's a good way to clear out negative energy, like just to clean your crystals in that sort of literal sense. So that's one way that you can do it. There's a lot of other ways. Like a lot of people will burn sage. I personally don't like the smell of burning sage. So a lot of times if I want to do a smoke cleansing, I tend to use dragon's blood. Either the resin, or you can get like dragon's blood incense sticks or powder or whatever. I find that works really well. Now for different types of magical attacks, because some people will use like mirror magic or like psychic vampirism and things like that. So I have certain types of things that you could do to ward your mirrors from that, especially if you do mirror magic or scrying, like using a black mirror, scrying, things like that. Is if you're not using the mirror, close it up, because that could be used as a portal to either remote view or someone sending an attack through it. So there's a lot of ways you can do that. I've occasionally used like holy water to like ward my mirrors. I have a couple mixtures I use. I have like a sort of a generic energy cleansing spray. I do have a few new that will be coming out shortly. that I've been brewing for a couple weeks now. This is May 2021, so they will be out soon. And they're specifically geared for warding off magical attacks and for like energy protection and things like that. So you could, in theory, like spray your computer monitor and stuff, because guess what? You know what most trolls are doing? They're psychic vamping your energy. And I can go both ways. Yeah, I want to say hi to my Christian trolls who tell me I need to be saved and whatnot. Your devotion is so tasty. Like butter. It's like dessert. It's so good. But you want to protect yourself, because if someone is out there nefariously trolling you, they're stealing your energy in a way. They're psychic vamping it, and then they can feed off that. So, I kind of know, I can tell when someone's starting to do that. I'm like, all right, look. But anyways, so those are a couple little things that you can do. Now, if you feel like if someone is throwing some baneful magic at you, whether it's, I don't want to say, it varies. I mean, people do all sorts of weird shit. And, my advice there is, like, when I start feeling, usually what happens is I'll start feeling like almost like I have a wet blanket over me and someone sucked the marrow out of my bones just out of nowhere. And like, if I can't like trace it to anything, like, did I sleep well last night? Am I not feeling well? Am I getting sick? Is it this? Once I rule out the mundane shit, and if someone is like, ho, I'm cursing you or whatnot, because sometimes people like to brag about that stuff, especially the trolls. But, what I do with that is a lot of times I will pull up, like, on YouTube, there's a lot of great, like room or house energy, clearing, like binaural beats, kind of ambient music. A lot of times I'll put that on to kind of disrupt it. Immediately jump into the bath. Now, I'm lucky because I make a lot of, like, energy cleansing bath salts. But if you don't have any on hand, I mean, literally, if you can just throw some Epsom salt or Dead Sea salt, or, if in an emergency, table salt will do, because salt's very cleansing. So whatever you have, but I suggest starting sort of like a little magical arsenal, just so you have those things, just in case, It's like your little, magical first aid kit for when you get boo-boos. So those are some of the things I do. And if I know someone's attacking me, I don't do a lot of, like, baneful magic in the traditional sense. I'm not, like, sitting here death cursing people because they pissed me off or whatever. But more often than not, I will do, like, binding stuff or return to sender type things. I have protection amulets for myself that contain, like, crystals and herbs and personal effects. I use blood in a lot of my magic. And I'll light a candle on top of that, because it's something I've been using ongoing for a long time. And also, if you have friends that are in the community, ask them for help. Like, if I message any of my friends and say, like, holy crap, I'm going through something, literally, any of them will be like, okay, some people do work in the astral realm. Some people are like, okay, I'll call down Archangel Raphael. Yes, I know, left-hand path, sometimes we do work with angels and archangels too. So, because it's the choose your own adventure of magic. Your friends can do things. If you are incapacitated to a sense, your friends can do some of that work. I usually keep, like, a protection, return to sender, uncrossing candles on hand, the ritual oils and stuff for that as well. So, again, these are great things to have in your magical toolkit. And most of these are things, I don't make candles, but, like, you can use any candle that you have. Like, if you just have a white candle, you can throw an uncrossing oil or whatever on it, or a protection oil, and that's great. So once, you've done all that, you'll start coming out of it. And also, what I learned is the most important thing, especially if someone's like, oh, I'm going to curse you, or I'm going to do this, is it's mind over matter in a lot of senses. And for me, if someone's like, oh, I'm cursing you, or like, you're like, oh, so-and-so's doing this, whisper down the alley, is I don't take it seriously. And I make a joke out of him, like, I stubbed my toe. Oh, it must have been that curse that person placed on me. It's like, oh, got a parking ticket. Oh, it must have been that curse someone placed on me, or, I just make a joke out of the little, mundane bullshit things that go on. It's like, ooh, I got a headache, sick burn, bro. I just don't, because the more serious you take it, the more likely it's going to start manifesting. And that's an important thing to keep in mind, is that you can make that curse manifest by like sitting there worrying about it and being afraid of it. And I always come back, and I know this is a cheesy reference, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. The most fundamental lesson there is they live on fear. If you can move past that fear and worry, you'll be okay. Yeah. So those are most of my little tips for, doing kind of just keeping yourself protected. And there's a lot more advanced stuff that you can do, especially with a lot of people using radionics now and things like that, that you can just kind of have that kind of running in the background and it'll just neutralize it. You might not even know what happened. So just know the signs of, and it's going to be different for everyone. Some people it'll manifest as anxiety or just like a string of stupid shit happening all in a row that it's like, But once you realize the signs, like if you're really under attack, like get in water, do a salt bath, that really helps disrupt it. That's my go-to. I mean, as soon as I feel I'm like, straight in the bathtub. I keep salt and stuff in the bathroom as well, so it's not like I have to like crawl downstairs, get a cup of salt, come back up. Again, it's keeping your little magical toolkit and keeping it handy, your first aid for when you get the boo-boos. So anyways, that is just my little spiel on protection magic. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.